Right, we are back after the Christmas holiday and my awesome Feronius Transsteel 2200 is obviously still here, which is a good thing, with my welding cart. We've also got a bongo, which I'm going to be doing a lot of work on soon, all body work related as well, so that's for future videos. But we're getting back on the tranny. So what I've done is, I'll show you the inside of that in a second, and that's all finished off. I left the video of that without doing all the body work because I also did the body work on this one. So if you want to know how I did the body work on that, go and check out this video or that video over there. What I'm going to do now first is go underneath, and you can see that's where we put the panel over the top on that one, and that's where we put the panel underneath on this one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to completely Schultz, black stone chip Schultz, all underneath here first, get that done. Then I haven't got the stuff with me yet because I haven't ordered it, but I've got some spray cans of wax oil, but I was struggling to even spray it out of the cans, so I think I'm going to buy the little machine that goes in there and we'll spray it all completely, all inside there with all the holes. I'm going to do every single hole that I can see, all these new holes and everything. I've already gone around clearing up all these retaining holes here, the ones that we made as well, to clear all the crap out, because that's how it basically rusts, because all these holes get clogged up and the water can't come out and it sits there and rusts. So I'm going to get this ready for painting. So if you want to know how I got to this point and why I used the welding methods and the methods that I used for this particular case, go and check out the other videos, because all this is just sealer. I didn't grind down the welds at the back here, there was literally no point. And for the Schultz, all I'm going to do is just literally get a wire brush and get all the main crud away, so just all the loose dirt, and then just spray it on. This doesn't need to be finished, you know, absolutely perfect. It's not, you're never going to see this. This is just for a bit more protection. And like I was explaining in my other videos, you have to pick your battles depending on what you're doing. Oh, why is the light gone out? You have to pick your battles depending on what you're doing. You know, for what particular vehicle you're working on and the money that's in it and stuff like that, and the job you can do for what it is. See, looking at this now, I have to be careful, because putting stone chip or Schultz, anything underneath a vehicle, you may be doing a lot more harm than good. Because what happens is, you can see none of this is rusty. This isn't rusty because of anything that's happened on the outside here. It's rusty because of what's happening on the inside. If I layer this in stone chip, what's going to happen is, if you don't do it every year, when you get the stone chip peeling off, water's going to sit in there, it's going to do more damage. This, absolutely 100% solid. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to stone chip at all, because I know that's just going to cause me more problems than anything if I do that. Can you see here on camera? Can you see here? You can. Look at that. See, that's the stone chip peeling off. It's rusty underneath because the water can sit there. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to stone chip just over my repairs. That's what I'm going to do, because this is really, really, really good. And then what I'm really going to do, which is going to help, is I'm going to protect inside each one of them holes. That's what I'm going to do. And I can't wait for the YouTube experts to tell me why I'm doing everything wrong. because they don't bloody know. We know the armchair warriors we're talking about. Believe me, if you've ever done anything like this before, you'd realise, and you see a car that you know rust in certain places, and then when you start using that stone chip and you don't look after it every year, now you come back once every 6 months, once every year, flick all the loose stuff off and repaint it. Yes, look, it's not going to have an issue. But it's a lot of maintenance to do that. And looking at how good that is, I don't think there's any point. I've made up my mind. That's what I'm going to do. Lucky enough, I stopped myself spraying the black Schultz, because I've got to spray white stone chip and Schultz on this side. So if I was to spray the black first, even though no matter how much you clean out the gun, black always comes through, and this is the more important side. So I'm going to spray the white first. So I'm just using my red oxide just to clear up and give it a bit more protection before I do. You can see, look, that's the step. Absolutely perfect. Could I have done it a lot better? Yes. Could I have spent more time to make it absolutely perfect? Yes, of course I can. But again, there is just no point. I could have grinded down these welds, but the strip's going to cover that. I could have grinded down these welds, but again, all the plastic step and everything's all going to cover that. So it's absolutely no point doing it for a transit van well, this particular transit van. It's just absolutely pointless. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish doing my preparation first, so just getting all my undercoat set down and everything. Once I come to spray the Schultz and mask up, I will then show you how I'm doing that. And unfortunately, I know I'm going to get some, oh, you just left all that there. This is out of the area we're spraying. It's just a little bit of surface rust. I will treat it, but I'm not going to spray it. I might touch it up by hand, we'll see. It's just unfortunate out of the area that I'm spraying. And again, it's like, where do you stop? Do you do this bit, and then do you do this bit, and then do you do the bit up there before you know it, you're spraying the whole thing? So you have to stop somewhere. Anyway, just let me finish off this, and then we can start painting. Right, I'll show you inside later on, but what I want to do now is just quickly mask up. Now again, I know I keep saying this, but you just got to remember, this is just, it's a good job in the sense of it's all been repaired with proper metal, it's all been welded in, but it's still, you know, a cheap job. It's still, it's not, you know, we're not restoring a £1 million car here. We're doing a good job that's going to last, but it's still on a budget. That's the key. The budget, without doubt, is the key. So what I need to do now is I need to get this exactly on the line that we are looking for. It's just below the ridge on the door. It's actually easier once you lay out the pin like that, because you know you more or less have to be right. I have to slightly go up from here now, so we'll just leave that like that. There we go. I know what people are going to say, oh look, he's masking over all the dirt. Yes, I am. But there is a reason for it. One, this is only Schultz. And two, because I'm not masking all of it, I'm just going to put newspaper, because again, that's what most people have, newspaper. They don't have fancy brown rolls that they can mask it. They don't have the sheets that open up. I have all that, but it's not like everyone has it. This is the sort of job someone's going to do in their own little garage, because they don't want to buy a newer vehicle and maybe it's too expensive to get someone to fix it. So newspaper up to like here is going to be absolutely perfect. It's not going to be an issue for this particular job. So what I need to do now is work out exactly where I need this to go, which is about there. Slightly up on an angle. Oh, let's do that now a bit, so let's just fix that. Now what I've actually done in the past with Schultz is held a piece of cardboard and sprayed it at the same time, but the problem is I want to do a full run on this, so I just want to get, you know, everything masked up a little bit better than that. So what I like to do, I'm going to mask it, put the tape on the newspaper first, this way, you can rest it on your head like that and put it on the exact place you need it on. Right, it's very crude, I agree, but again, for what this is, it's not going to be a problem. We have already rubbed all this down before in a previous video. All I'm going to do is just spray the stone chip / Schultz, whatever you want to call it, on. This is just to protect what I've done, and it gives it a bit of a better, I shouldn't have touched it, a better, you know, resistance to rust. Well, not so much rust, but when a stone hits it, rather than the paint chipping off, it's going to kind of bounce off. This stuff can be a nightmare to spray. It can be very thick, and sometimes it doesn't come out the gun very well. I will be doing other videos soon on kind of properly doing it. I've got a couple of cars lined up, I think, quite soon, where we're going more in depth and doing, you know, so you can't see any of the welds and stuff like that. But again, this is a transit van. I might have to put a bit of thinners through this because it's not really spraying. I'm not bothered about the effect. We knew the effect was going to be there. Even though this is white, it looks quite creamy, so which I didn't explain in this video, but I've explained in other videos. I've got another spray can which is frozen white, which is the Ford colour, and I'm going to spray over the top to at least give it, you know, roughly the same colour as it should be. You can just leave this stone chip on, you know. I see a lot of people, especially with white vans, they put black stone chip on and they leave it because it kind of matches up with the bumpers. But we're just going to use it white just to, you know, make it look a little bit better. I'm going to put a bit of thinners through this first. If you were spraying, you know, with a proper spray gun, base coat and lacquer, you couldn't get away with just doing this with masking because the overspray will come. But there's no real overspray with this stuff. It doesn't act like that. Hopefully that's mixed up enough. Yeah, definitely better. Normally, like I said, you want to spray a whole line because you normally with Schultz you get like a hard line, but I'm not getting it with this, so that's actually alright. Should have enough for one more coat. Coverage is okay. Well, let's face it, it looks a lot better than what it did at the beginning of the videos. I'm sure you will agree. So I'm going to let that flash off for a few minutes. I'm going to put another coat on. Then I'm just going to spray it with the can of paint I got mixed up. I've never used this stuff before. I got this from my local motor factories. They've just started doing this because, again, for a job like this, it's handy. I don't know if I'm going to wait for it to fully dry or if I'm going to wait for it to be close to dry and then just spray this on. This is just for a colour. It's not for any protection. It is, I think it's base coat. I don't actually know. I'm presuming it is. It's not. Anyway, look, it doesn't matter because this is the protection. So I'm hoping when that starts drying off, I'm going to spray that on, and that will, you know, keep the colour, but this is the protection underneath it. And with it drying into this, it shouldn't really flake off. That's what I'm hoping, but I don't know. But at the end of the day, worst case scenario, if it doesn't particularly work, which I think it will, we can either leave it white like this, it's not going to look horrible, or we'll just paint it black. If it, you know, if it flakes after a few months or a few weeks, the white paint, I'm talking, this stuff won't flake, but the white stuff might flake off it. The frozen white, I don't know. We will find out. Right, I'm going to wait a few more minutes before I put the final coat of Schultz on, but I have to say at the minute, it's looking all right. And it's going to be at least a year before you see this. So when you see this on YouTube, a year has passed, because people, it's really funny when people comment and go, oh, that's not going to last, that won't do this, that won't do that. And they don't realize that the videos are about a year old. I have 123 videos as from today that are on my YouTube channel unlisted. Only my Patreons get to see them first. So by the time this goes live, it's going to be a year's time, and then I will know what happened and I will tell you in the comments. So when people say, well, that's not going to last, and I'm like, well, hold on, this was filmed over a year ago. It's still okay now. I will let you know. I've never done this before in the sense of what I'm going to do with the spray can. I don't see why it won't work. I think it's going to work. I can't see why it won't. But yeah, but at the minute, I have to say, for what we're doing, for what job it is, it's looking all right. It's only a tranny at the end of the day. So 2007 tranny at that. So do you know what I mean? It's not like, you know, £1 million Bugatti or something. Some of the biggest mistakes I've seen, and I used to make, especially when I started, you know, learning how to spray and stuff like that, is rushing. Putting too many coats on too quickly. Because it can look great, and then the last coat you put on, it can react, it can run, it can do all sorts. But with something like this, this is maybe a good thing to practice on, because it's stone chip, because it's, you know, a van, it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. This is really good to actually practice on. But I think we should be good enough for our final coat, hopefully. I'm going to use all this stone chip, so if I have a little bit more left over, I'll use it all. But I don't think I will. I think this should be the last of it, and the last coat. We'll see. Should really be wearing a mask, but I do have fans going on in here, so. Ah, right. Wait now, and spray the. Look, it's spat 2 lumps of dried stuff out, right on the driver's door. Anyway, not that it's a problem, just a bit annoying. Oh, I didn't press record. I've just done all that without pressing record. Oh. Well, all I've been doing is spraying this. It seems to be working. It's not coming out the can very well, but it seems to be working. Like I said, I've never done this way before. I'm trying to now remember everything I just said before I started spraying. I've never done anything like this before where I've put this type of paint over the top. I've sprayed, you know, proper paint over the top of stone chip and Schultz before at the bottom, but never just like this unprotected, because I'm not going to spray anything else on this. This will need, I believe, this will need, you know, like a lacquer over it, because it's only base coat, but I'm hoping once it dries into the stone chip will kind of protect it. But I also don't know whether it's going to, you know, start peeling off in a few weeks or a few months. Like I said before, it's going to be at least a year before this video is up on YouTube. So I will know if there is any issues and I'll answer them in the comments. But apart from it not really coming out the can okay, it's going onto it, it's changing the colour of the stone chip to the frozen white, and it doesn't appear to be reacting, which is a good thing. So at the minute it appears to be working, which is obviously a good thing. Coming out of the can a little bit better now, to be fair. I got 2 cans of it, 1 for each side, because I don't know how far it's going to go, because I don't really normally use spray cans. I use a spray gun, so I don't really know how far it's going to go. I haven't done underneath there with the colour, because I don't know how far this is going to go. I'm only really worried about what you can see. Right underneath there, I can leave it creamy, unless I've got enough paint at the end of it, which I think I might do, but I don't know. It just would be nice if this was coming out a bit better, so I know I'd have a more even spread. But I might just, well, I'm going to use all this spray can on this side anyway, so we should have enough. It's certainly looking more frozen white than creamy. When I look underneath here, very creamy under here. So I'll just give that literally just a little smattering of paint, because I'm not bothered about that. I think this is going to work quite well. And even when I'm standing back, I don't know what the camera's showing it like. It's hard to see. But even when I'm standing back, the colour's looking fairly okay. And when you stand back, you know, I don't know, a mile, you'll never notice it. It'll look perfect. I think so. To be fair, I think this is going to work quite well. You know, for a kind of cheap DIY repair, but I keep saying cheap repair because it is a cheap repair, but it's still a good repair, if that makes sense. You know, it's still proper panels welded in. I haven't filled over the rust. I've taken the rust out and I put proper panels in, whether I've made them or whether we brought them. So it's a proper repair in that sense. It's just, you know, with all the fillers we had down in this corner from, I don't know who did that, but you'll look on the other videos, you'll see that we were kind of stuck with the repair we had to do. It's not exactly the repair I wanted to do, but you know, when you come into these things, it evolves and it's never as straightforward as you think. So, you know, we never expected to have all the rust inside the door that we were having, but again, we was there, we might as well repair it. Anyway, I'm going to let this dry another 10 or so minutes, then I'm going to put another coat on. I'm just used to spraying with a spray gun. It's so much easier than spraying with a can, and I understand why people get cans and stuff. It's cheaper, you don't need compressors and stuff. But with a spray gun, you just get a lot nicer range and just a lot nicer pattern. This is the biggest thing I have ever sprayed with a rattle can. I think I've maybe sprayed a wing before, I think years ago, but I honestly can't remember. What I really want to try and do is, I don't want this to completely dry. I want to get this masking tape off before it completely dries. And the reason is because if you, this is even in a paint gun, a spray booth, sorry. If you let this paint completely dry, maybe not so much this because this is only Schultz, but especially lacquer, when you peel the paint off, because the lacquer's gone over there, you can leave a hard line and it can actually start peeling. So what you do even in a paint booth is you turn the paint booth on the next morning, you let the paint heat up a little bit, you peel it off. But I like to get the masking tape off as soon as possible. The downside to that is, if you touch the paint, you'll destroy it. So you have to be very careful, but if you get the masking tape off as soon as possible, it will leave a lot better finish and a lot less chances of anything peeling. So I really want to make sure now I get this completely covered in the white colour, frozen white. Where is that water coming from? Shit. Oh, that's not good. There's been a load of water come out the bottom of that door. At least it's just a van. Alright, I'm going to have to leave a little bit of paint because of inside that door. I haven't painted in this colour yet. I think that is going to be good enough for what we need. I truly think that it's good enough white, with enough white on there to kind of match the van. And yeah, so I think I can now do the dodgy part. Oh, come on, turn off the fucking phone. If I can do the dodgy part, I'm taking off the masking tape. And this is why another thing, I didn't really clean the van, because if there was any overspray, not that there really was, but if there was, it's going to stick to the shit of the van and not the paint. But if I was painting this properly, you know, with a gun, you'd have to mask the whole van up. You can't really get around it. So with the spray can and the Schultz, you know, it kind of saves you a little bit. Again, I just want to take little bits off at a time. Just, that's my line there. I'm happy enough with that. Like, this really isn't the way to paint a car and, you know, to get anything, because even when I'm peeling stuff off now, you can see little bits are falling off, which is not ideal, but again, for what we're doing, it's ideal. Always peel the masking tape off at a bit of an angle. I have to say, for the job that we wanted to get, we pretty much nailed it. Right. Right, you can see our line looks really nice. Again, for what it is, it looks absolutely fine. But what I want to show you now is you can see the white. This is dirty and, you know, it's faded, so the white is it's never gonna match perfectly. But look at the difference. You see the difference? This, even though this is white, it still looks very, very creamy compared to the actual white. Now you can really see it, look. So that's why I want it. I don't like the white stone chip. It always kind of looks creamy, and after a few years it dries creamy. Or not dries, but it kind of gets more creamier. Just don't like it, especially against the white. Like I said, if you're going to do that, personally just do it black, and then it matches up with the bumpers and the wheels. So I'm just going to spray inside here now with the little bit I got left. Not inside there, but just inside there with a little bit I've got left, just to match it all up. All right, hopefully I'll shake this up enough and this is going to be all right. There we go, that's all it needs. So much better coverage with the black Schultz or stone chip. But there we go. So that is now it. All I got to hope is I haven't completely sprayed black all over my new white. And the answer to that is, no, I haven't. So, that is really good. I'm happy with that. Again, you know, look, it's not perfect. Far from it. But it's a job that's going to last a good long time. It's a lot easier to repair this Schultzy stone chip stuff than it is paint, because it's a lot more cheaper and we can just come back even in a year's time and paint it again. And like I said, if this actually doesn't work, the white that I've sprayed on it, we'll just paint it black. Simples. And I know, before anyone says anything, I know you can get stone chip and Schultz that are coloured to your car, but we just cannot get it here. Well, I can't get it locally anyway. So that's why I didn't go down that route as well. The day after, doesn't it look absolutely beautiful? Well, looks can be deceiving. Put the camera down a second. So what I've managed to do is I've just put the step inside. All looks nice. Oh, let me put this in. All fits. Looks nice. Anyway, look. Problems. I have done cracker glazing, not painting. See how it's reacted really, really badly. I know exactly what's happened. I just didn't leave it long enough. There's no if, buts or maybes. What I'm gonna have to do is redo this. Obviously I was trying to let this still be wet while I put the paint on, so the paint will kind of soak into it. But what I'm gonna have to do now is Schultz it, let the Schultz or the stone chip completely and utterly dry before I put the paint on. Then it won't do that. It's quite bad. This is why you experiment. But we can easily fix it, it's not a problem. Just one can of Schultz really, that's all it's going to cost. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm going to have to now wait a couple of days for this to dry properly. I can't do anything yet. And then kind of rub it down a little bit and redo what I basically did. And let it dry before I put the paint on, essentially. All the joys. Right, I don't need all you so-called experts out there to tell me what I've done wrong. I know exactly what I have done wrong. I was just rushing and I put too much paint on, which brought all the solvents out in it. That's what I did wrong. It didn't happen inside there. Inside there is perfect. I could have stood back. You would never have seen it and I could have said job done. But I was rushing. I will fix it in another video. Very, very easy, very simple. It's not going to be a problem. So yeah, don't need all your experts out there telling me or thinking you know what you're doing. Thinking everything. I know exactly what I've done wrong and I show my mistakes.